Hi, my name's Joe Stanley. I'm here to talk to you today about learning Spanish and the troubles of learning Spanish that most people go through. So, I noticed while learning Spanish that the current methods aren't really working that well. I've tried learning other languages in addition to Spanish. When I learned Spanish a long time ago, they didn't have the sources that they have today. But even today, with what they have available, with all the apps and things like that, I had a hard time learning another language. The big language companies out there, they have unlimited funds to keep their name in front of you, constant advertising on TV, on the internet, in your emails, things like that. And people choose their course because it's always in front of them and they think they must be really popular. But I'm sure if you've tried any of these courses, you're probably disappointed because you're still not fluent. You're still not speaking Spanish like you were hoping to do. And that's probably why you're here watching this video right now. Everybody I know that's gone through these courses, and any course pretty much, is still struggling. I've spoken with people that have had 8 years of college Spanish, and they still can't have a basic conversation. They're still struggling just to make a couple of sentences. The way people are being taught is broken. It just doesn't work. And it seems like most are teaching the same way. The courses, the apps. If they worked, you wouldn't be here right now looking to learn Spanish and searching for a way to become fluent in Spanish because you would already be fluent in Spanish. So I figured out what was holding me back from becoming fluent in Spanish. And once I figured it out, I became conversationally fluent in Spanish in a very, very short period of time. And it was literally like a light switch. One day I was struggling, and the next day I was having conversations with people. So let's start by talking about my experience. And I'm sure you'll find it's very similar to yours. Then we'll talk about various things that are probably preventing you from becoming fluent in Spanish. I became interested in Spanish just by hearing people speaking Spanish. So you go into school and there's Spanish speaking people there, or you're in a grocery line or out in public at a park or wherever. People are always speaking Spanish, and that is what got my interest in it. I would hear them speaking, and I always wished that I understood what they were saying. And also, there's many people from other countries that all speak our language, but we don't speak their language. And I understand we don't have to learn another language because everyone speaks our language, but it's not about that. For me, it was the excitement of, I want to learn another language. It would be really cool. And I want to be able to understand what they're saying. That would be cool. I chose Spanish because there are more Spanish speaking people around my area than any other people, and it's easier to practice Spanish with somebody because it's a common language where I'm from, and there are many people that you can practice with. That's what got me interested in it. So I took classes in junior high. I really wanted to learn Spanish. It was really good. It taught me the basics of the alphabet, how to count, how to say my name is Joe, and things like that. Where's the bathroom? Words, colors, things like that I learned from junior high school. And I learned a few phrases, but it wasn't really focused on conversation. It was more on learning basic knowledge of Spanish. But my goal was to learn more. I really wanted to speak Spanish. I wanted to have conversations in Spanish. And the level I was getting there wasn't enough. So I went to phrase books and Spanish dictionaries, and I tried to figure out how to make sentences and things, and that wasn't working out. And the phrase books are great, but they're phrases, and you're stuck with a specific phrase to use, and it doesn't always work that way very well. So there's courses on CD. Back when I was training a long time ago, the courses were on CD or even VHS. They would have that. But I had friends that I asked to teach me Spanish. I had Mexican friends and I had a Cuban friend, and I'd ask them to teach me how to speak Spanish. And they would teach you the same kind of thing, phrases, but they're more interested in teaching you swear words. So if I wanted to go around swearing at everybody, great, I could learn a lot from them, but that's not going to help me for having conversations. So I decided I will hire a tutor. And what it ended up being was more like a class in school, talking about words and phrases and structures of things, and it ended up being kind of confusing to me again. Same thing with college class. I took college classes, and the college class, my teacher was from Venezuela, and she was really good teacher. I loved her. I mean, she was fantastic. She really helped me kind of get to the point where I could form a sentence. And but there was a lot of stuff in there that was confusing to me. A lot of information, a lot of grammar rules and things like that. And it was just confusing to me. And it got to the point where it wasn't really helping me get to the point where I could become fluent and have my own conversations and make sentences and things like that. So let's talk about some internal struggles that typically keep you from learning Spanish. One of them is not knowing enough words. If you don't know enough words, how can you say anything? Obviously, language is composed of words. And if I want to say something about a computer and I don't know the word for computer, how can I say it, right? So you have to know words. And I didn't know enough words to be able to say the things I wanted to say. I didn't know how to make sentences very well. And I think this was really a struggle for me, not knowing how to make sentences, because I want to say something and the pre-formed phrases that I was learning in school and things like that didn't really help me make the sentence that I wanted to make. So I wanted to be perfect before I would talk to somebody. I wanted to perfect it. I didn't want to be embarrassed. I didn't want to say something the wrong way and feel stupid for trying, you know? So I was trying to perfect everything I was doing before I would go there, and that doesn't work either. I was unsure of proper pronunciation. Yes, you learn how to pronounce when you're learning basic Spanish in school and things like that, but there's always uncertainty about your pronunciation, whether you're doing it good enough or not. I felt stupid when I didn't understand somebody. So if someone would reply to me and I didn't understand what they said, I'd feel embarrassed. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to react. So it would kind of keep me from speaking Spanish to people. I tried phrases, and the response was not expected. I say we'll just use the example of "Hi, how are you doing?" and you expect them to say "good," but they say, "Oh, I could be better." But you didn't learn the words for "I could be better." Now you're confused about what they just said. So the phrases don't always work because they don't always respond the way you expect them to respond. I wasn't sure whether I was smart enough to learn everything I needed to learn. So I have doubts about, like, there are thousands of words in language. How do I know whether I'm going to have enough knowledge or ability to remember all this knowledge for what I want to learn? These are the internal things, the internal struggles that typically hold people back. We're going to talk about now external struggles.